Hi folks, this is Robert from Afterburner Comics, and I'm improvising a little bit today. Today is July the 20th, and so we're basically marking the moon landing back in 1969. Don't have too much with comics just yet on the moon landing from 1969, but I did want to cover Amazing Spider-Man number 124, and that was from, I've got the Marvel app here, that was from 1973. And we had artwork by Gil Kane, and it was written by Gary Conway. So Spider-Man 124, 1973, this is according to the first splash page here. This is about 10 days after the death of Gwen Stacy. So Peter Parker is still dealing with a lot of guilt, and just he's still got a lot of regret about the incidents from the death of Gwen Stacy at the hands of the Green Goblin. And so he starts off this issue, which is again Spider-Man 124. It's called The Mark of the Man-Wolf, and he's just kind of doing a recap of what happened with the death of Gwen Stacy. And part of that comes from just seeing all of the news reports from specifically like the Daily Bugle. Daily Bugle is run by J. Jonah Jameson. And in this issue, let me tell you, J. Jonah Jameson is unhinged. I just can't believe how I don't know just how much visceral he has for Spider-Man. You tend to forget that when you see the present day depictions of JJJ, where I believe he's like a podcaster these days, and I think he's still got a little bit of that fire left in him these days, but nothing compared to the J. Jonah Jameson from the late 1960s, early 1970s. So at this time point, he is really on his stance that Spider-Man is a menace. Spider-Man has caused the death of Green Goblin, and has caused the death of Gwen Stacy, of course. And part of this issue, the central part of this issue revolves around that whole idea that the Daily Bugle is putting forth, that Spider-Man is a menace. He just caused the death of Gwen Stacy, and even to the point where Jameson's editor-in-chief, Robbie Robinson, is telling him, hey, look, we got to chill on this, man. We don't have any evidence that Spider-Man actually did this. But, you know, J. Jonah, he ain't having it. He's going to print what he wants to print. It's his paper. In the middle of Jameson's dialogue with Robinson, J. Jonah Jameson's son, John, shows up. Now, John, here's where this ties into the whole astronaut thing. John Jameson is an astronaut, or he's a retired astronaut, and he wants his dad to meet his fiancée. And you know, it's not really overt, but it is very blatantly implied that whatever John has done in the past, as far as his accomplishments and things like that, it hasn't been enough for his dad. And so there's some umbrage between the two of them, because of, you know, John feeling like no matter what he does, he's not living up to J. Jonah's expectations. And you know, there's this kind of I forgot what it's called, kind of like a pre-staging in one of the illustrations, where you can see this little moonstone that John is wearing around his neck. And later on in the evening, Jameson Senior is in his plush apartment, and basically a werewolf breaks through the window and starts to attack him. Luckily for Jameson, at that time, at the same time, Spider-Man has been patrolling the city, and just eaten up with guilt, and just building up this rage from all of the visceral that he's been seeing from the Daily Bugle. So, you know, he's had enough. He's going to go to Jameson's apartment and just let him have it, whether it's physically or just verbally let him know that, hey, he's not going to stand for it anymore. So Spider-Man happens to show up just as the Man-Wolf. This is what J. Jonah Jameson's son basically is turning into here. Just a little secret for you there. So he's turning into this werewolf that gets dubbed the Man-Wolf. They have an engagement as far as physical altercations going on there. Fists are flying, chicks are kicking. And basically Spider-Man takes a hit on the head. He kind of loses consciousness for a little bit. And while he's out, J. Jonah Jameson, the senior, recognizes that little pendant that the Man-Wolf is wearing. So he puts two and two together, and he realizes that this werewolf creature is actually his son. So he tells Spider-Man, hey, look, when Spider-Man wakes up, he's like, hey, look, Man-Wolf's left, and I don't want you to pursue it anymore. Spider-Man doesn't know what's going on, and the issue continues on, still with Spider-Man has kind of let his anger go down a little bit, but the issue concludes with Spider-Man sitting on the top of a rooftop, and he's just kind of thinking about his day, thinking about his week, and just kind of decompressing. And the shocking conclusion of the story is that the Man-Wolf is coming from an off-screen camera. He's jumping down and he's about to attack Spider-Man, and that's the exciting cliffhanging ending of that issue. A couple of things that stood out to me in this issue, number one were basically, again, just how absolutely unhinged Jameson was about just in his attack on Spider-Man, using the Daily Bugle as his weapon. And also, I can remember reading this issue a long time ago, and at that time I was more focused on the punchy, the fighting stuff, but there's some scenes there where Peter Parker has gone. He's decided that he's just going to take a break, go back to school. I believe he was at NYU at the time, but he goes back to class, and while he's sitting in class, he's just sitting there, just absolutely freaking out as far as his thoughts that are running through his head about what the other students around him are thinking. He thinks that they're basically judging him, and all of these negative thoughts about him. None of the other students are really saying anything, or it's being depicted in the artwork is saying anything, or even really noticing him. But he's building all of these conversations in his head, and all these antagonisms in his head about what's going on. So that was very interesting to me. And also his relationship with Mary Jane Watson in that story has also was very interesting to me, in that the two of them are basically, they're friends, but there's also some antagonism between them also. I guess the nexus of this is that Gwen Stacy was Peter Parker's girlfriend, and at the time I believe that Harry Osborn, the Green Goblin, and Mary Jane were dating. So both Peter and Mary Jane have lost their boyfriend or their girlfriend, and they're both kind of dealing with that. There was just a lot of anguish going on in those early Marvel comics, and again, at the time, I didn't really pick up on all of that dialogue. It was just more the action stuff. And the other thing that really stood out to me was toward those closing pages of the comic, where Peter is sitting on the rooftop, and he's like I said, kind of decompressing and thinking about his week. And the Man-Wolf is stalking him. Just the setup and the layout of how Peter is sensing this with his spider sense. And it's not just a matter of they're showing one panel and Peter's saying, oh, his spider sense is tingling. There is a build up there where, there's some intensity building up there where panel by panel, Peter is recognizing that something is wrong, and whatever his premonition, whatever that spider sense is, it's warning him. And so I really enjoyed that build up from panel to panel, how his spider sense really kicks in, and it doesn't give him a clear, for the most part, it doesn't give him a clear direction of the danger, or even the context of the danger. It just tells him that something's wrong and something's about to happen, and then it's kind of up to him to decide whether to act upon it and how to act upon it. So those are some of the things that really stood out for me in this issue. I really love the work, the artwork. We had artwork by Gil Kane. Gil Kane, and I think it was one of the, oh man, who was doing the inking? Maybe Buscema? It was either Buscema or Romita was doing the inking on that, on this issue. But great layouts from Gil Kane. Colors look good. Of course, I was reading this one on the Marvel app, so I'm not sure if they did some reimagining and I don't know, whatever they do with the computers and digital coloring and things. I'm sure they enhance it a little bit there, but great colors, great color palette for the issue. Conway's writing is melodramatic. It is just larger than life as far as how the characters are emoting. It really has everything just jumping off the page at you, whether it's from a dialogue and a narrative standpoint or from the artwork standpoint. An excellent issue to check out for you. Again, that was Spider-Man number 124 from 1973 Marvel Comics. The first appearance of the Man-Wolf. That's all for today. Best wishes to everyone. Check me out if you want to see more of my work. I'm at afterburnercomics.com. And also, if you want to see a lot more of my postings and things like that and my daily activities, you can check me out on Instagram at afterburnercomics. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye.